Okay, we'll call a meeting to order for the February 23rd Select Board meeting. This meeting's about the forensic audit and road rehab project. The first item on the agenda is to pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You guys just kind of want to swing around that way, see that thing?
You're almost there.
I got it.
I think I got it.
Yeah, you're
People come a little closer if they have a hard time seeing. I did as big as I could with what paper I had to work with, but the biggest thing was to get it so people watching from TV could follow what was going on. We'll do the road rehab project first. First thing up here is why the roadway rehabilitation project article. There's little or no materials to grade in a lot of the areas of our class 3 gravel roads. Dave could attest to that. I mean, a lot of the roads are down, you know, you're on the grader, huh? A lot of the roads are down to base gravel or ledge or roots. There's just nothing for them to work with. Everybody's been complaining about road grade and stuff. They need to do something about it. So this is why we're in the process of doing this. And B, we're currently spending about $30,000 a year during mud season filling in mud holes. And by doing these projects in the locations they are, we figure we probably save close to half of that amount of money not having to fill in mud holes if this is done, and the damage we do to the roads trying to get to the roads to fill in the mud holes. So, that would pay for the interest on the bond itself, just in that savings alone. And C, the need for this work is not going to go away. It's only going to get worse over time, and be more expensive down the road. We're piecemealing it because we won't be able to get the discounts and stuff we're getting on materials. And down here, there's the roadways to be completed. So Flint Road, the total length of Flint Road from, it was done up to about where Gilbert's house is, okay, Davy Gilbert's house is. That was done previously, but from there all the way to the end of Flint Road, there's class 4. Martin Road was where we left off by, what's the name of that little street?
Windmill Lane.
Was it?
Windmill Lane.
Windmill Lane, from Windmill Lane.
Windy Acres.
Windy Acres, okay. It was done from Granville Road up to Windy Acres a few years back. It was supposed to be from Windy Acres Road up through to the four-way intersection by the substation. Baptist Street will be the full length of Baptist Street from Granville Road to Chelsea Road. Chelsea Road will be where the blacktop ends, from there to the town line. South Hill Road was completed up to Graham Road intersection, so it'll be from there to the town line by the Beagle Club. Tower Road will be right from McCarthy Road all the way to the end of Tower Road by there's a Washington Road, where the intersection is here. George Road would be from Flint Road to the end of George Road, where it goes up into Coolidge's Farm. Total of that is 13.84 miles. Our original plan was to go do another 2 roads. It would be another 2.4 miles, but we wanted to keep it at $1 million. This, if you figured it 24 feet wide on all the roads, 13.84 miles at 9 inches thick. That's the material will go this far. We know that some of the roads are narrower than 24 feet wide, so we're hoping to gain some by that. And then if the materials allow, we'll put, next ones are Fernal Road and Cold Spring Road's additional 2.45 miles. But those aren't guaranteed. We know we got enough to do this for sure, and we should have enough to do some, if not all, of those two, just by the different widths in the road. The maximum width would be 24, then there's some areas it could go down to 20, and 18, you know, at the least probably. Okay, so the cost of the work, grading materials are gonna be a little over about 823,000. Liquid chlorides, about 16,000. Additional culverts needed, 18,000. Some miscellaneous labor, there's gonna be some flagging involved at some of the intersections. And some people maybe running a loader or roller during that process. I got some money in for additional grader rental to make sure that we have a grader available at all times of doing the work. And then additional, you'll have to have a roller, big vibratory roller at this, so we got 16,000 for that. And for materials trucking, the town's gonna be run their 2 10-wheelers. And depending on the location, like up on the Tower Road where it's close to the Northeast Materials, you probably get by one truck. You get off on the other side of town on Flit Road stuff and might need to hire 2 additional trucks. So that would be hired by whoever's available at the time for dump trucks. So total of this cost comes to $998,200. This work is going to be completed by primarily by the town highway crew, with additional labor hired to do the intersections and run roller, and additional dump trucks hired to haul material. But the majority of the work's being done by Dave and his crew. Expected duration is 60 to 90 days. As everybody, I plan on the 90 days because it's a pretty good task. It'll go pretty quick. Of course, you know, up on the Tower Road area and that, but once you get out farther, that's why we have additional trucks. We should be able to keep it going pretty good. The financing, we were able to secure a loan if this goes through the Vermont Bond Bank for 10 years at 2.9% interest rate. There'd be $1 million loan. The total interest on the loan would be $140,215. So the average loan cost per year, the interest rate, did you hand out any of those?
Yep, I handed out, the handouts have the
Everyone
interest
got
rate
one of those
breakdown
papers?
on them.
Everybody's got these papers? You'll see in the paper there, on the bond bank, it shows you the interest rate. You'll see at the beginning, the average is about just a little over 14,000 a year, but at the beginning it's a little higher. And then it goes down to almost nothing towards the end, so it'll average out at $14,215 a year. $14,021.50 a year, excuse me. So that would relate to a tax increase for 10 years on a $100,000 home assessment value of $29.76. So anybody's home that's in the $100,000 range assessed would be $29.76. And we have got it figured out, if your home was assessed for around $250,000, it would cost $74.40 a year for tax on that. So you can figure it out, wherever you land in those areas is what it would be. Over here, this is a standard new roadway construction design. New roadway construction calls for 12 inches of base gravel. That's anywhere from 1.5 to 4 inch minus stone gravel. The top course, 6-inch top course, 3/4 to 1.5 inch gravel. That's if you build a new road, that's the highways policy, and that's a state standard. What we're proposing to do, This was Vermont testing, did some exploratory digs on South Hill and Hebert Road back about 5 or 6 years ago. They came up with a design of using 9 inches of crushed granite, 1.25 inch crushed granite on those, when we did it on those 2 roads about 5 years ago, and they've held up good through mud season and got stuff to grade and out, so it's proven that it works. And that's what we're proposed to do now. Down here is a kind of a sketch of what we got now. This is the road base. Some places it could be a foot or more if there was a mud hole there. You get up there where there's next to nothing, and then it goes up and down. That would be graded out, mixed together, rolled, compacted before the new 9 inches of granite would be put on top of it and compacted. So that's pretty much the sum of it. We got this now up and down and nothing to work with. More than need. A lot of it, if you get down into this, you start pulling up the big stones, you can't grade that, so it's almost impossible. So, Mr. Surveyor, anybody got any questions on that?
I do.
Yes.
I imagine that you evaluated all the roads in town to come up with your list.
Say that again.
I imagine that you evaluated all the dirt roads in town to come up with a list
Yes.
of the ones that need it the most?
The road foreman and the former town manager put this list together of roads that need this work done to it.
So what about the other roads that are not on the list but are in bad shape as well? Is there a plan for future?
Yeah, there are other roads in town for sure.
Okay, I have one.
We tried to pick out the ones that need the worst right now and that have the most traffic on them.
Yeah,
And this is, what's this list is compiled of, Flint Road has grown tremendously, its amount of houses over the years, recent years. Martin Road's a connector road between 2 roads with a lot of houses on it. Baptist Street's a main connector road between Graham and
Yeah.
Chelsea Road. So
I totally understand that. I'm just curious, what is the future of the other roads? Is there some
we
plan?
currently put $150,000 in the road rehab fund every year. The town meeting has voted in, it's in this year's budget, as it has been in the past. And that will, after this year, there won't be time enough to do much else this year, I can guarantee that. Because between mud season, getting winter sand put up and other miscellaneous stuff. But once this is all with, those roads should be in good shape other than grading for quite a while to come. And then we can use that $150,000 to work on these other outlying roads that need attention. But we figured $1 million probably about as most we could do at one stretch right now, and then use that money over the years to continue to build upon that. I mean, we could go out and bond for more and do them all, but we figured this was the first step.
So if you are, what does $150,000 now do with the town's roads? Like, where does that money spent now versus?
Well, we combined it over a few years to do, from Graham Road to the Chelsea Road on South Hill completed. Took a couple of years to do it. The same thing on Hebert Road from, I think it was up by the 90-degree turn there, down to the school. Was done over a couple of year time with it. And we did this last year. We knew areas, we tried to anticipate this hopefully going through. We did some under drain work on the real muddy parts and that we knew in the road. We had one more section that we need to do this year to complete that on Flint Road. But we did some on Hebert Road and on Pleasant Street last year, which is not on this list, but we were able to gravel that road after we did that, along with a section of Hebert Road from the sharp corner to Berrytown line. So those are done out of that rehab money. And we'll continue to do stuff like that on the rest of the roads other than these.
So there's no plan to do like another bond in another few years to try to tackle a bunch of them? No.
If people want us to, we can. I mean, I think that my opinion is that get this done, see how it goes, and then see how it goes, try to catch up with the other road stuff. We had a couple years, we didn't get much done, and we had the floods there back to back.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, that improves some of the areas, the roads through FEMA, but some of the other roads fell behind because it just wasn't physically time enough people to work on it. So,
And once this bond is paid for, does then your taxes drop back down the amount that they went up?
yep, it's just for this 10 years.
Yeah.
Unless they want to take another one out and keep doing it.
Well, I'm familiar with taxes don't usually go back down, so I just thought I'd ask.
Well, if you vote for another $1 million in 10 years from now, it'll stay the same, but, unless the interest rate changes or whatever, or material. Things change over years, but,
Are you gonna, are we gonna pull in edges on these roads? I noticed we don't have much of a crown on just about anything, so that's why water sits a lot on these roads. And I know that's a base problem, I run a road grader every day. But I'm wondering if we're gonna pull in enough to actually make these roads crowned before you put that 9 inches on to actually make it do something. Cause that's a lot of the problem, there's no crown on the roads. And I understand that a lot of people don't like the crown, they don't wanna go in the ditch, but we need a couple percent. It's
yeah.
just wondering if we're gonna make an attempt at that, or we're just gonna throw the material on it.
We're definitely gonna be regrading the roads before we do anything with this on it.
Right.
We regraded and compacted and if there's material enough to make a crown, we
I
can.
know what that's like.
Most areas, yeah, he could probably speak to it.
Speaking as the former grader operator in this town, there's not enough material there to.
I know, I deal with it every day.
To put a crown on it now as it is, so.
But there's,
This is the opportunity to do it.
this is the opportunity to pull in what you can.
Yeah.
A lot of the sand over the winter is pushed to the sides, I don't know, are we gonna do any ditching on these roads, or
I would hope
we're
so.
gonna make any attempt at,
We
Where
got
it can be done
we
and
got
where it's
culverts that
needed.
gotta be replaced before we do any of that.
Right, I figured as much, I'm not wailing on it, but I'm just, it's one of those things, it's like,
Did you guys factor anything in if this was to pass, set anything extra aside for additional chloride? Like, as well as I do with granite, it's dusty.
Right.
It takes a little more chloride than anything else. If you use enough, obviously, it packs in pretty good.
All these numbers are standalone numbers for this project.
But does that include going forward as far as maintenance when we grade?
You mean in years to come?
Yeah, going forward after the completion of the
this?
project.
We definitely will have enough in this year's budget, because we have our chloride budget on top of this. Down, like next year and beyond, I'm a big proponent of more chloride. The more chloride you use, the less material surface
I agree.
gravel you lose.
right.
I've been to seminars and stuff, and a highly traveled gravel road can lose up to 2 inches of surface material in one year.
And that's where I'm going with it, if we're gonna spend the money to put 9 inches of
We need to
gravel
make sure-
down, we don't want it in the air and in the trees and in the grass. We
Well,
want
the
it to
nice
stay on
thing
the
that's
road.
gonna help save that is if they actually, if you chloride it before you roll it, you're gonna get that compaction's gonna be an asphalt essentially for a while.
One thing that we did last year was we bought a roller to go on a chloride truck.
Right.
And I think that's working out pretty well from everything I've heard.
And we're in talks with the chloride company right now about having them come and spray these roads that we're working on after we get them laid out.
Come right over with the tractor trailer.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good, smart.
Yep.
Already, I guess one other question is, so we're working on all this is gonna be the summer. We know with rain and all the other crap, it'll last the whole summer. Are we gonna do, like she stated about fixing some other roads? A heavily traveled road, Chelsea Road in the middle is destroyed. Is anything you're gonna get done to that this summer? I saw marks all over it last year.
Yeah, they didn't get to it last fall before.
And I figured
it
that was as much,
and
but
they're coming back this spring, just as soon as
Are you
the
gonna
frost.
replace a couple of those culverts, or are you just gonna?
That culvert, that's like that,
Right.
there's nothing wrong with
No,
it.
and I didn't know, I just,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just.
we crawled right up through it and it's fine. The one up above before you get to,
Yeah.
the plumber there,
Yep,
By the Flowers is, that one just sunk this year, I think it's because of the frost.
right.
Um,
I just, I mean, we see what happens with 64, they pave over, and then a couple years later,
Yeah.
it turns to crap, and they did it over in Waitsfield on 100, they
Yeah.
paved over these, and all winter long, they got destroyed, so I just, if they're gonna shim it with 3/4 of an inch of asphalt, it's not gonna hold up, I don't know if you're throwing our money in the ditch or not. Is that the plan, is it 3/4 or?
Well, yeah, it's gonna be, it'll be, what is it, inch and a quarter base,
Right.
they're gonna.
Sure, go right up through that, with,
Yeah.
okay.
All them marked you saw will be all
Yeah.
that.
Over the last few years, we've had a lot of complaints come in about grading the roads and roads not being graded and, bottom line, in a lot of these cases, there just is nothing to work with to start with. And you can't, we start digging into the base, you start rolling up 3-4 inch rocks, it's pretty hard to smooth that.
A lot of people don't understand that, don't run a grader on a daily basis. If there's nothing to grade, you don't even wanna touch it, because you're already pulling up base rock and it sucks. Then everybody's pissed.
So like I say, like, there are a lot of areas where there's not much gravel, or very thin, then you get these mud holes, like way up on a tower road or something like that, then you gotta travel over these other roads to get to it, you're hammering those roads, where if we could get them fixed, work way back down, it's gonna save a lot of money in mud season. And like, we should be able, Dave and I talked about it, like, we should be able to save enough to cover the interest on this bond. And with the $1 million, spend it now, spend it later, spend it over 4 years or however long, it's still gonna cost. The only thing extra is the interest, and if we can save on the mud season thing, we can cover that by that, so. Yes?
So if this does go through, obviously this would be a hell of a nice start to get some material on our roads. Has the board thought about actually doing an annual RSMS program, maybe a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan, and actually putting it on paper and figuring out, an order of importance of roads to be done over that course of 5 years or 10 years, whatever it may be, barring that we don't have any floods or anything like that. I hate to even say the word.
We had one in place, it was a 5-year one or something. And, got shuffled around pretty good with the
I know
floods.
it's, yeah, well,
So,
the last few years has thrown us some curveballs.
but the floods, to be all honest with you, we would never, ever be able to fix these roads like there are now, being flood resilient and those big culverts and stuff without the help of FEMA, so.
Everything happens
The
for a
floods
reason,
were
I always
a
say.
big pain in the ass and hard on a lot of people. But as far as the town goes, we're in better shape now since then than we were before by a long ways, so. If we can get this done and get back on track and like you say, get a plan in place, I think what we should do is see how this all works out. If it works the way we hoping it will, we should be able to make a plan to take care of these other roads. Won't be a big project like this, but we'll do this road this year, a couple roads.
It'd be a
Sure.
process, but eventually you'd get there,
So what if this doesn't pass?
What's that?
What if this doesn't pass the vote? Then what are we gonna do?
They're gonna spend $150,000 we have in the worst spots.
It's gonna be a long time.
Continue doing the same thing.
Can I offer a
Go
suggestion
do-
if it doesn't pass then? What I've been saying for 20 years, you have a screening plan. Go through, on my road, Snowbridge Road, when they put the underdrain in, there was 4 foot of gravel, but it's dirty gravel. It's silty stuff. So the pack's really great, and the frost loves it too. But if you shake out the silt and you put back the stone, you've got your drainage, and you just killed it, there's no more mud season. So if it doesn't pass, you have the equipment to do that.
All
And I
that
was
material,
saying
all that
simple business
material
for-
went, up by your house, all that material went right down to the pit, went right through the street plant.
No, I know, I'm just saying, but I've been there over 30 years and, it's, evidently it's 4 foot of gravel in that 30 years.
Oh, I agree.
Because I asked Joe, and when you dug, because I was curious, right? And it's dirty gravel, but you save the stones, that's an option. It's still gonna cost money, it's labor, equipment, you gotta hire a bulldozer. You still have 2 loaders, or just 1?
We have 2 loaders.
Okay, well, I mean, you have loaders, but it does take away from the town. When we did the South Hill box culvert, that was a hazard mitigation grant, which meant it was a product of after the floods, because there was a flood in, all 3 years I was your manager, there was a flood every year. And so what happened was, we applied for grants like up on Backer Street, at Langtos, and, got money for that, we got a hazard mitigation on South Hill. So after the floods, and you get reimbursed, which does help, you know, it's stone embankments you didn't have before, road repairs, culverts, could be upsized culverts, all FEMA was paying for, I don't know, I've been out of the loop obviously a long time. So anyway, yeah, that's an option, I think, is to reclaim the gravel that's there, reclaim the stone. You take the fines, put it back to the pit, because you're supposed to reclaim the pit someday anyway. And reclaiming means you're putting material back, in this case, it's gonna be silt. And yeah, you're gonna have to seed it, it's gonna wanna wash away on you for sure, but that's an option, you know? I mean, there's nothing better than granite though. I mean, there's nothing better than granite, everybody knows that, right?
Yeah.
You know, whether it's in pavement or just on your road base, I mean, you just don't want the fractured faces cutting your tires, but otherwise than that, there's nothing better than granite. And that's when,
They did the test on it, wear test on it, and granted far by
when they were
seed.
paving the interstates, especially when Pike was crushing a long time ago, that was granite stone, and it held up at least years, even years longer than a stone that wasn't, you know, there's other hard stones, but granite's what we
I
got.
mean, granite's a little bit more expensive, not a lot more, but a little bit more, and then there's other quarries that are closer as far as trucking, but in the end,
Nothing better.
this is the way to go if you want longevity, for sure.
Chris,
It's gonna be a long, going the route like Garrett's talking, at $150,000 a year budget, it's gonna be a long process if this doesn't pass, and so I wouldn't great hopes that it does, but if it doesn't, then we'll just have to plug along as we've been. I don't know what else to do. Chris?
This is a lead in to the next agenda item about using the town resources. And I'm asking every select board member and Mr. Lockwood, the new, and the road foreman, do you think we can actually spend $1 million of material in 90 days? And I'm asking individually, each one of you.
There's a number of trucks available, right? You can place a lot of material with trucks and a bulldozer, you have trucks.
Asking the chairman as well as the board.
You want every board member to answer?
I do, I wanna know that it's
Tyler?
unanimous,
Well,
first of all.
I was gonna actually ask a similar question, because a resident reached out to me, and if everyone reads their letter, if you have their letters, one thing that's in the letter that is a little different that was said tonight, the project will, this isn't the letter, will be completed by the town highway department. So that was a question I was gonna ask the chair. But, yes, how is the town, what is the town road crew going to do for 90 days? Because we all have our jobs, right? I work in a specific spot, I have a job, I know what I need to do. But if I'm diverted from that, that's more of a question for our road foreman. And then just making sure, so I don't know the answer to that. 100% I don't know the answer to that, because like I said, that is a good question, because if they're doing all of those roads and something disastrous happens to road X, then they have to move away from the project to fix X. And then the other question, because of what the letter originally stated, is if we're having, and this is more for the town manager, is it going to go out for RFP, request for proposal for help?
May I respond to Tyler? Everybody in town pays taxes. Some of them have children in schools, but most of them have road expended, they expect to have the road maintained. I'm just responding to your statement.
Yeah.
What little material I hauled last summer, yeah, I can see where you could spend $1 million or 800,000 pretty quick. With trucking and fuel and, yeah, I could see that. And I didn't haul a whole lot last year, but
May I respond to Scott?
Yeah.
The road crew is already paid, so the fuel is they're gonna work on roads.
Yeah.
So the equipment is bought, so to speak, the fuel is paid for, the manpower is paid. So we're going over and above that, is
Right, what is it, 800?
over and above any budgetary
If we had
expense.
to hire this out by independent contractor, you'd probably be 1.5 times as much.
That wasn't my question.
Clayton?
Do I think that'll be able to put down $800,000 worth of repair? Absolutely. And reason being is whether we have a storm come up and even a member or two of the town crew has to go address something else as far as things. And there's already been accounted for a couple of hire trucks. Now, the town does hire trucks regardless of this new road rehab on top of it. So if it's close by, if somebody has to go, it's gonna get spent. Will that material, or will it be able to get $823,000? Absolutely.
What are we paying a yard or a ton?
We're
For
still,
the
That,
grant?
those protected.
we've got a-
The only reason I'm asking,
we got,
is we can figure right out to the load.
right,
If it's 300 loads, I mean, Bryce Clayton, you
Right,
can do that
and
in a
if,
couple
you know,
of
if you're
weeks, you know?
putting a
it's
couple of
about
triaxles
40,
in
it's
there, you're hauling
about,
up
it
that
equals
much more.
about 49,000 yards.
Okay.
And if it's
So
a
you just do the math
triaxle,
on that, so.
carrying anywhere between 72,000 pounds versus the weight of the truck, right around 22 to 22.5 ton in one load. And from, I would be Northeast Materials, I'm guessing it's, even to the furthest point, it's still not that much. You can put a lot of material out in a day.
It's 2,200 loads at 22 yards, so
Versus 90 days,
that's not very hard.
We did, on Hebert Road last year, we got the drainage part done. We did probably mile? Right in that range on Hebert Road, and they did it like a couple days.
Yeah.
And we had, 2 towns, 2 trucks,
3 trucks.
towns, 3 trucks, and one of my trucks, and there was one other one too.
Well, we had 2 trucks, and then your truck and one other truck.
Yeah, and they did that 2 days, a mile of it. So, they pretty much did the same exact thing as we're gonna do here as far as surfacing goes. So, is it doable? Absolutely. Will the weather screw us up? Good, could have another flood, but the only way we're gonna get the good price on this materials, we're gonna have guaranteed that we're gonna buy X amount of yards of materials, at X amount of price. If something happens or we can't get it done this year, the material will still be there for us for next year to do it. I mean, it's not like we're gonna lose anything. It's just, but in order to get the best price, the best deal we can, we need to commit to buying X amount of yards of material. So it's not gonna spoil. You agree with that?
I mean, my opinion, I'm no expert in any of this at all, so I lean on the opinions of the people that have the expertise, and from all the conversations and meetings that we've had, I'm pretty confident in the plan that they've all come up with, that it's gonna get done. I can't say, yes, this can be done, and I don't know, but from all the conversations and stuff, I'm pretty confident in the plan they've put together.
I can tell you, like the normal year's construction work of the road crew, it's probably gonna be almost non-existent, because they're gonna be focusing on this. This is a #1 priority to get this done. They did a lot of, but with no floods last year, they got caught up in a lot of ditching stuff that needed to be done, and a lot of culverts put in. So we're not too bad a shape, other than some grading here and there. That's one of the reasons for renting another grader, so we could probably do some other grading in the same time as this is going on. But to tell you everything's gonna be sweet and graded everywhere in town along with this going on, it would be lying to you. We gotta focus on this and get this done before fall if we absolutely can. And then they still, got the normal winter sand to put up, stuff like that, so it's in the mud season, gotta get through that first. So it's good, they're gonna have to work at it, but absolutely, if you ask it if it can be done, absolutely can be done. I think the town crew has got enough equipment and manpower to get it done with some additional trucks and stuff. Dave, you got anything on it?
Yeah, no, I'm confident that we can do it, weather permitting, and the fact that people are just gonna have to understand that, you know, unless it's emergency work, otherwise, there's not gonna be a lot of other work getting done in town. We have one operator right now that's doing fairly decent with the grader. I had the budget to hire a summer helper. I'm in hopes that I can get my retired grader operator to come to work for me this summer some, which will help me out tremendously. I got one new person in training, but I've got 3 new guys that I'm working with this year out of 5 of us, so.
Yes?
I guess that's my biggest concern is that, nothing against the town highway department, but they are green to do a project like this, I'd be a little concerned. That's all.
Did you speak up a little louder?
I just said, my only concern with this whole project is that we have nothing against the highway department, but they are green, they have no experience, and we're asking them to do a major project like this.
Yeah, but once you grade the road, you're talking about dumping loads and pushing it off with a bulldozer or a grader.
I don't know. 'Cause I'm not-
I do, I was in that business a long time, yeah, I do know, and, that's all it is. Yeah, you probably wanna even use the whole highway crew, once the roads are shaped, once you place the material. And obviously, if they're driving trucks,
Are you on the select board?
I am not, I shouldn't be talking, excuse me.
Well,
That's okay.
we're good.
Don't let
We're
it
gonna
go.
do the best we can with what we got. That's all I can say. And I'm sure that we'll get through it some way or another.
I understand your concern though.
That's why
Chris?
I didn't hear from the road commissioner. I actually asked the board, the
Oh,
road
right.
commissioner, and the road foreman.
Mr. Commissioner?
Well, I'm not the road commissioner, but.
You are by law.
Well, no, that's the select board are road commissioners. Yeah, I believe that the plan is sound, the details all sound like it's doable to me. As far as parts of that project, that exceed $10,000, per our purchasing policy, they'll have to be put out to bid. If we can find enough outfits to bid on this.
Is that for all material, or is that for every part and piece?
Not necessarily materials, although I feel like we only have one good supplier for granite, being close enough to save us the money.
Yeah, there's only one in the area that does it.
Yeah, so you can do sole source, on things like that. But like, greater rentals and miscellaneous labor, if those pieces of the project, if this passes, I would have to get with Dave, we'd have to come up with a plan, and those parts of it that exceed 10,000, we would have to put out the bid.
We've been negotiating with the Northeast on this for a while. We've got a pretty good price based on the average cost of going up there. So I'm gonna negotiate a little bit more, maybe we can get a little better. It'd be easier if they weren't the only one around, but that's what it is.
Just a reminder for Mr. Lockwood, in a town manager form of government, by law, he is the road commissioner. I'm not sure if this select board and the hiring committee let him know that, but that is the case. But I'm concerned about the other people that pay taxes on other roads not getting attention. And again, I preceded this question with the next agenda item.
Well, if we had the resources, we could make everybody happy in town, probably not all in 1 year, but over a couple of years, but this is the first giant step forward. So, no, town's never even come close to putting this money out to work on gravel roads that I'm aware of in the 50 years or so I've been involved in doing work around town, so.
I'm just curious, does anybody know how many, dirt roads there are in town?
Off the top of my head, no, but I made a map book for the fire department, so I should know that.
Should be.
I know that.
Basically,
It's recorded. It's recorded, how many
recorded.
gravel roads, how many
The
paved
gravel roads, I think we got about 80 total with class 4 and everything. And like about 60 are traveled, either class 3 or class 2 roads. I think we're probably in the range of 35 to 40, just strictly gravel, class 3 roads. I'm close, but I might not be exact.
It's recorded with the state.
Yeah,
All it's recorded
but I
with
don't
the
have
state.
that information right here in front
Because
of me.
I'm just curious, like, what the percentage of this road's covered. It's even like a quarter
This
of
would
the
probably
road.
be a third of them, and we've done a couple of major ones on South Hill and Hebert Road. It's probably consistent of, I don't know, what do you think,
Stone Road's been
5
done.
miles maybe between the two, something in that range?
All of Stone Road's been done, half of
Yeah.
South Hill, Hebert
Yeah.
now.
Falls Ridge used to be in that category, because now it's class 2 with paved. So with what we got done already and this, we'd be a little over half, I'd say. And all of them are the major thoroughfare roads that travel the most. And like I say, we'll continue to work on the others. Maybe depending on where they are and what they are, maybe get another 3, 4, 5 miles a year done as things go along. Yeah.
Do you have an estimate of how long you think this will last before it needs to be done again?
What's that?
Do you have an estimate of how long the roads will last in this good condition before it needs to be done again?
How long will they last?
How
before
long,
they wear
once this
out?
is done, these roads are done, how long do you think the roads will last?
It's gonna vary. The ones that have the most traffic on it, obviously will last the least. But going back to the chloride issue, if we do a good job attending to that, that'll help immensely. On some of these roads, this 9 inches is probably the most gravel it's ever had put on it, so, and it's gonna be a lot better than stuff that originally was put on it. So I don't know exactly, it's gonna vary from road to road, but I'm guessing we could get 15, 20 years.
Well, how long has South Hill been done, Rodney?
What?
How long ago did they do South Hill?
I don't know.
I can't remember either.
About 5
No,
years.
but I mean, up as far as your road.
5, 6 years ago,
I was
right?
gonna say 5, 6 years ago.
I can't remember either.
That was 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's still in great shape.
1,400 feet is brand new.
Yeah.
After 2023.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Howdy.
But, on that same subject, even though there's been road material put on that road, it's still not crowning the grade.
Mm-hmm.
They're not keeping the berms down, not keeping the ditches clean. So, what is the plan on maintenance? Are you gonna grade that maintenance, or just gonna do the same old thing? Because these roads have had no material put on them. Don't get graded any better than the ones that don't have material.
So I think, right, we made a 5-year plan just a little bit ago with Dave and Jackie. But I know over the past couple of years, Dave's crew, they've been working pretty hard about ditching, culverts, getting the berms off, because there's been a lot of complaints about no crown, the berms, water can't get off the road. And I know they came up, they did Baptist Street, I don't know if it was last year or the year before. And after they got the berms off, I mean, the road's been, I live on Baptist Street, it's been 10 times better. So I think as long as the crew continues it, we get this done and they keep that focus with the 150,000 a year, whatever, getting the berms off, you know, training the graders to where they can, you know, carve those off, and the ditching, and they continue with that, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. Just from what I've seen the past couple of years with them focusing on the berms and the ditching, it's, at least on Baptist, that's, I live on it, so I see it all the time, it's made quite a big difference. So as long as they continue to do that, I think it'll be better. And probably, I would assume there's always a trade-off with this type of stuff, right? Like, they invest their 3 months in this, they can't focus on other things. But if we don't do this, then, you know, they'll have more time for other things, but you still have this problem. So there's always these trade-offs. And again, we're just presenting, it's gonna be up to the town. If you like it, vote for it. If you don't, you know, we're totally fine with whatever the town, at least me, whatever the town decides to do. We're just presenting stuff. But I'm pretty confident in the crew from what I've seen the past couple of years, of at least, you know, from Baptist and stuff. And Chris, you were doing some of that work too. And after you guys did that, Baptist has been way better. That's just kind of my 2 cents on stuff.
Chris?
So I'd like to talk about South Hill specifically. Mr. McCarthy and Mr. Graham said 5, maybe 6 years ago, it was redone, and it's on the list to be redone. But we also just got told that it might last 15 to 20 years. So,
No, that part's not on the list. It was done from Graham Road down to Chelsea Road 5 or 6 years ago. This is from Graham Road to the town line up by the Beagle Club.
And just a little bit of information, as far as these roads getting, you know, how long they're gone, we've got actually 5 or 6 years on the part that's been done on South Hill, that's proven. Do they need a little bit of work as they go? Yes, they do. With the ability to put this new material on these roads and the other roads, at least the material will be there to reclaim. Once it gets washed off by Mother Nature, can be pulled back, reused again. Where there's parts, there's no material to fix it. And I don't think it's gonna be a loss. And as we do have green operators and stuff, everybody's gonna start somewhere, whether it's our roads, it is. They're gonna get better as they go, and the roads will get better, because they'll have something to work with. That's, you know.
may I respond to Clayton?
Yep.
That's a perfect example of what I just said earlier. The lack of maintenance on other roads to focus on these 7 or 9. The others that have been taken care of are now gonna fall behind. Doing everything in-house when you're talking about this much of work is what I'm questioning.
No, the only problem with that, if you go beyond in-house, you're gonna pay for it, and you
You're
think
talking
this
$2.5 million.
number right here is nothing. Clayton and I can both speak to this stuff. You know, the town of, not Duxbury, what is it, over there in Middlesex?
No, second.
2 years ago, $2.5 million to do exactly what we're about to do. And they didn't do it in-house, they put out the bid. And if they'd done it in-house, probably could've saved, you know, $1 million anyways. But you can't.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to call the meeting to order.
Okay. You have anything else you'd like to say?
No, on this topic.
Okay. You have anything else you'd like to say, sir? Sir?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Okay, is everybody set with the road rehab? Questions? I'm gonna move the forensic audit over here because the camera is having a hard time seeing over there.
Let's pull this one down, but set it over there, you know what you're doing.
item.
Okay, now we're on the forensic audit. Why the forensic audit article? The first select board meeting right after the town's manager's arrest, there was a large group of people, at least 3 or 4 times as many as is here tonight. We've been requesting that the select board have a forensic audit done. And the time we knew it was gonna be in a couple $100,000 range, we said that we were not gonna spend that kind of money without voter approval. And they would have to, they asked Barbara, you know, get a petition up, I don't remember how many signatures you had to have, like, it was 100 or something like that,
Yeah,
to call for a special meeting.
yes, for when we did the ambulance, yes. You had to have 120, it's 1% of your voters.
And we took a straw poll of people here, like 30, probably 40 people put their hand up saying they wanted to go through it. So the board decided that rather than make them go through all that petition process, that we would put on our, with a condition that we get proposals. We send out, request proposals, we send out, find out exactly what the cost would be for this forensic audit. And the second condition was the article by Australian ballot would be put forth to be voted on or before town meeting day. And that's what the select board agreed, and that saved them having to go get a petition and all that stuff. And so that's where we're at right now. The facts of the matter is, just for people's information, that this select board or anybody else that was at any of these meetings, if I'm saying wrong, speak up. But our annual audits have not produced any evidence of fraud or financial misconduct. Nothing's been found that the manager did anything wrong in any of these audits done previously by our auditors. Both our former and current auditors, along with the town treasurer, don't feel the need for the forensic audit with our current financial systems in place. You see, all tax bills are generated through the treasurer's office. The manager only collects the delinquent taxes, water and sewer bills, which are turned back over to the treasurer, fund collection and accounted for by the treasurer. And as per the auditors, even a forensic audit may not find small amounts of funds that may have been misplaced. So there's no guarantee this forensic audit is gonna find everything. They're gonna go back 14.5 years as a duration of the former manager and go through every paper and everything. And there's still not a guarantee that something will be found. It may or may not, I have no idea. Even if if funds are found missing, there's no guarantee the funds could be recovered. It would be an additional legal expense to the town. That means if they find something, they can't collect it, there's no money to be had to get, or you still have to have lawyers involved and everything to go through that. So that was brought up by the former auditor, I think it was Yakbone. And on top of that, a forensic audit would require additional staff time and personnel compensation. So like the treasurer, the maid, and possibly Barbara, anybody that the auditors need to get information from to complete their work would have to take time out of what they're doing. There'll be overtime, would have to be paid or whatever to work with those auditors to get this thing done. We sent the request for proposals out. They came in varying amounts, in varying, you wrote this down for me that, I mean, what we asked for was audit review. That would be review the auditor's practices over the years and see if there's any way anything could happen, you know, money missing or whatever. And then the second thing was the cost for a forensic audit. And when we got all done, there was only one company that did exactly what they were asked. And they were, for the audit review, was $55,000, and then another $165,000 for the forensic audit on top of that. So that comes to $220,000. And there was another company for the forensic audit, was $205,000, they'd have broken down. And then there was another one that was $250,000 time we did the forensic audit. But the only one that did exactly what we asked for comparison was the ones we got there that came to $220,000. So we got some higher, one a little bit lower. And so a couple just did just a preliminary audit, which when, if we went before the voters, we'd have to go back before the voters because we didn't have enough money to do both. So we had to put the final number in, which is with the forensic audit. So it's $220,000 for the auditing firm to do the preliminary and forensic audit. In addition, we put in, we don't know exactly what it's gonna be, but we put additional $30,000 in to cover additional staff time compensation for our town staff working with the auditors. So the total came to $250,000 that we have, and that's what's on the ballot. This would require a tax increase for this year for a $100,000 home of $65,000, and a $250,000 assessed value would be $163. So it would cost the taxpayers to have this done. So I'm not an accountant or an auditor, but you can shoot some questions. Chris?
More of a comment, not a question. I guess I agree with it. We're probably not gonna recover if there's anything to recover. But the intent, I shouldn't say intent, but the way that the letter was written, as far as the road work, and the way the letter was written for the audit, the select board who signed it implied that we would lose services if we did the audit. But it wasn't implied that we would lose service if we did the road.
I believe the letter stated that the town highway crew would be doing the work. I have it
I
here.
think you misunderstood me. No, the letter did state that the highway crew would be doing the road work, but it was implied in the audit letter that the staff would be taken away from doing their daily duties. If you don't mind, I can read it for you.
Yeah. I believe they both, we were careful to write it so they both came out the same.
Yeah, if you know, so the original, if you watch the meeting when we discussed these letters.
I'm talking about.
Oh, I know, but I understand 100%. The audit letter certainly was more biased toward negativity than the road letter was more neutral. And again, I'm not making that up, you're more than welcome to watch that meeting. And as the select board, we need to be neutral. So I apologize that, trust me, I reread the letter after and I questioned even what we had voted on.
I have both letters in, the road one and the audit one. In the last paragraph, or next to the last paragraph, residents should also be aware, it's the last paragraph, the decision before voters is an important one with significant financial and operational implications for the town. We encourage all residents to consider both potential benefits and costs associated with a forensic audit when making their decision on town meeting day.
Okay,
Wait, I'm not done yet.
Sorry.
I'm gonna read the other one. This is on the road rehab. Decision before the voters is an important one with significant financial and operational implications for the town. We encourage all residents to consider both the potential benefits and the costs associated with this project when making their decision on town meeting day. They both say exactly the same.
May I read a paragraph from the audit? So this is what I'll call the third one. In addition to the financial cost, a forensic audit would require a substantial commitment of time and attention from town office staff. Employees may need to devote many hours to responding to document requests, interviews, and follow-up questions from auditors. This could significantly impact daily operations, reduce efficiency, and potentially delay routine services provided to residents. That statement is not in the road letter. But maybe I got a different letter than what you got.
On the very first paragraph, down at the bottom, on the road rehab project, this project will be completed by the town highway department and is estimated to take between 60 and 90 days. So you could read between the lines a little bit. Rodney?
What I think Chris is trying to get to is that in the road rehab letter, it is not stated that other roads may not get the same service while this project is being done. And we've already said that in this meeting, that other roads might not get the attention that they would otherwise.
There's a big difference.
That's what he's trying to get at.
There's a big difference between a forensic audit that may or may not turn up anything for a big cost than doing a roadway project where you get some absolute benefit from it. I mean, this is not this, but the roadway project is absolutely needed, and you'll see the benefit when it's done. The forensic audit may or may not turn up anything.
So
You're gonna have to spend a quarter of what you're gonna spend on this roadway project. It could be for absolutely nothing.
So, may I respond?
Yes?
I agree with what you just said. You said it may not, but the road will. What I'm suggesting in the future is the select board doesn't try to leave an intent behind this information.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I understand what you're saying, Chris, and we went back and forth. I mean, you can watch the video. There was a lot of, do we add this, take this out, make them same? Because we did try to make them neutral. I'm sure we tried, and obviously I agree with you, there's a discrepancy there. So I think we're not perfect. We did try, you watched it, we spent quite a lot of time trying to make them, somewhat equal. So I appreciate that, and definitely I will consider that in the future, looking for that more, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well, I gotta get going, so I'm gonna say what I
Yeah,
came to
go
say.
ahead.
First I came to say is, I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't wanna pay any more taxes than I have to. And if I'm gonna pay taxes, I want it to be worthwhile. I can tell you this whole audit thing, when I was a town manager in 2008 to 2011, oh, by the way, every year the municipal tax went down, every year. Anyway, I'm trying to keep calm, but I'm having a really hard time with this. Anyway, we had an issue where I found 3 accounting entries in 2007, I'm happy to show them to you. And it was brought to the board because double payments is the most common way to do embezzlement and fraud. I have a little thing from the state that they gave me too that I'm qualified to talk about this. So a standard audit tests 10% of the transactions. 10% of the transactions are verified in the standard audit. If you pay more, it's 20%. Theoretically, a forensic audit is supposed to examine every transaction. Do they? Probably not, because human nature says they won't. They'll skip over it because they're tired and they're moving on. The bottom line is, after we found the discrepancies, it was brought to the board decided not to go pursue a forensic audit, because first off, who says you're gonna get any money back even if you can prove or find anything? But what they did decide to do was to make sure that, and with my input as a town manager, to make sure that we, in the future, never had to worry about embezzlement and fraud, ever. And so controls were put in. The treasurer was now hired. You told me that Horace was looking at the teller receipts for years to verify them. That was part of it. I can show you those transactions. You bring out 2,000 teller receipts, and I'm happy. You don't have to even buy me lunch. I'll do it for free. But the point is, we put in all the controls so that this town could never have any embezzlement or fraud. And on top of that, a town manager doesn't handle money. Only the treasurer handles money. A town manager brings warrants to the board. Now, if the town manager and the treasurer who got together and say, hey, we're gonna bring up these fake warrants because the board doesn't know. And when it's a recurring cost, it is possible you wouldn't know. Like, for instance, calcium chloride is a recurring cost. So you might not realize you've already paid that bill. But the bottom line is, all these controls were put in, the town manager does not handle money. There's no possible way she could have done it. There's just no way. But whereas, it's my understanding that little fire department she went to was all done by hand. The thing that I don't understand about any of this is that why she was doing this. Because the 3 years I was your town manager, I was paid less than it was a lot less, 25% less than the private sector, and she was making a lot more. And you were paying for her kids' health insurance and all this kind of stuff. She had it made. I don't understand what caused her to go do this, but I can tell you, I can tell you beyond any shadow of a doubt, there is no way that could be done in this town after what we did. And I've been a taxpayer in this town, over 36 years? I'm not even sure. Lived here 30 years. And I'm telling you, there's just no way. And I gotta get out of here, because I am 2 seconds from popping that right in the face. Okay, so I'm gonna get out of here, because I could beat the living snot out of you. Just seeing you again. I can't believe you're still alive.
Just so you know, they also said the Titanic wouldn't sink.
Mike,
Am I wrong?
I'm telling you, we made sure there's no way any fraud or embezzlement could happen in this town.
They did the same thing to the Titanic.
I don't know what you're talking about, Michael, I really don't. But I can tell you right now, that's the case. You got professionals, you got auditors, that's why you pay auditors.
the auditors, former and current auditor,
There's no way.
reiterate the same thing you just said. We put those policies in place at the recommendation of state auditors accounts.
But,
We
Mr.
did everything-
Town Manager, if you would like me to come in and show you those county entries, are you still using Nimerick?
Yes.
Okay, and the teller receipts, I'll show you all that stuff, and we can look for it. Only it won't be in the last 15 years. But I can tell you right now, as your former town manager, there's no way. So please, the state can't control the property taxes. They're gonna buy down this year again. They're gonna buy it down so our increase is only 7%, not 14. Eventually, we're all gonna have to get rich or move. I don't know about you guys, but I'm too old and tired to get rich.
Thank you for coming, Garrett. Mike?
I just asked him my question. That's all I had.
Oh, you're asking him a question.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's gone. Anyone else have anything with the forensic audit? Chris?
I do support what he just said, not popping me in the face. In regards to the audit, I don't think we're ever gonna recover enough money to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
My point was the contradiction of the two letters.
Well, it's not like, it's like apples and oranges between the two. Are they not even close to the same thing? I mean, with a road rehab project, you got something to show for it, no matter what.
I
The
agree.
forensic audit,
I mean, as far
it's
as
a
town
crapshoot.
hall, all I do is drop off tax payments. I really don't look for much back from them. So if Barbara and Jen and, May and Mr. Lockwood, if they all got busy doing an audit, they're still gonna take my tax payment. But the road crew getting occupied on one thing, I'm gonna lose services. Important services. That was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, you're correct. Some things will get neglected during that 3-month period that normally would happen, but I think we're in good enough shape now after the 2 floods and the work they were able to get done to, it's a good time to do it this year, put it that way.
For the record, I don't have municipal water and sewer, so they're not providing that service for me out of town hall, so.
Just your shitty road.
I don't know, we lost a road for him, I guess he can't ask any questions.
I think he thought that part was over,
Okay.
yes.
So, does anyone have any more questions on this?
Just one, a resident asked me, and I reached out to the town manager, I don't know, probably time flies, a month ago, so part F of that, even if the funds are missing, there is no guarantee. The town, it's not technically called bonding, but basically the town of Williamstown does have insurance. If the previous town manager embezzled money from our town, that would be covered up to, do you know the right figure? I should have.
Not off the top of my head. I wanna say it's 5 million.
$5 million. So she embezzled $5 million from the town of Williamstown, we are essentially insured. That insurance would not cover what is being requested.
This cost
This
of the
cost.
audit.
You sure it's 5 million? I thought it was 500,000.
I have to look.
And I forgot my phone too, he emailed it to me, so I should have brought that, but yes, so version F of that is incorrect. We are essentially insured, and that's not just the town manager, it could be any of us on the select board, it could be anybody that has a control over some version of money, of any community, not just Williamstown, any of us. And then, the only question I had is, again, this is more of a mathematics question. How is the, and this, I'm gonna be honest, this is a personal question. How is the cost for the audit more per $100,000 than the road per $1 million? How does that work?
It's simple. This is a one-time, one-year deal.
Yeah,
The other one's spread over 10 years.
yeah, but it's still per $100,000.
Right, but the initial amount is less.
You're only looking at a single tax year. So you're, in one hand, you're looking at 1/10 of what you're gonna borrow. And then on the forensic audit side, you're looking at the full 250,000.
So do you multiply the
It's
road
the-
version times 10?
It's the 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the amount.
Okay.
So
So
if you multiply those times 10,
That's-
then you're looking at apples to apples.
okay, so the audit,
Well,
or not the audit, the cost per, over the 10-year span of a loan would cost the resident $740.
That's not correct.
Okay, that's why I'm asking.
The total cost for this loan is gonna cost, the interest on it, is $114,020, $21.50 a year. This forensic audit is gonna cost $250,000 1 year.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Well, no, the question is what's the overall 10-year span? Because I would have thought it would have been
You
110.
multiply that by 10, it would be correct.
So,
Yeah.
so a resident, for a $250,000 house would be $740-ish. Obviously, the
Over the-
0.4 a
Over the
month.
10 years, I don't know, I haven't added up that way, but
Again, that just, looking at that letter, I didn't really understand the mathematics myself, I assumed that, but again, because people looked at the audit letter and they saw a big price, and they looked at the road letter and saw a very small price.
But
That
it
makes
also said
sense.
1 year to 10
Yeah,
years.
but that was not explained in the letters.
well, hopefully we cleared it up tonight, if everybody's watching and
Yes,
everybody's
well, that's why we're here.
So, anyone else have anything? Well, thank you all for coming, and the rest is.
I do have a question, but it's not related to any of this. It's
Sure.
just I know several years ago, there was I don't even know what the right word is, but people wanted to have the budget at town meeting voted on by Australian ballot instead of just by the people that attended. And that did not pass. But is it my understanding that that didn't pass because only the people at town meeting voted on it?
Correct.
Okay, why can that not be on the Australian ballot?
It has to be that particular article, whether you wanna switch it from the floor vote to Australian ballot, has to be voted by the people that are there that day. So the majority of the people that day said they liked their democracy, they liked the debate, they wanted something to go to, but last year, I think there was like 60 to only 70 people that came to vote the $1 million budget.
Yeah. So how do you bring that up for a vote again?
The select board has to put it, which is too late this year.
Yeah.
But it has to be, the select board has to approve it to put it on the warning for next year's town meeting. And so you're taking 2 years.
Yeah.
Process.
Yeah.
But the people, just like we were talking about, there's like 100 signatures, if you want something put on the ballot. If we come up with 100 signatures, it would force the select board to put it on the ballot, or the select board could choose to do it on their own. But it would be better if we had support of people wanting it.
Yeah.
And we'd have to put it on for like next year's town meeting to be voted on. It's too late to do anything for this year's town meeting.
Okay.
You know, how many days, it has to be in by certain many days before.
Right, I was just gonna say, we got a, primary election coming up in August, general election in November. That is something you could consider to put on. It would have to be a town ballot versus the state ballot, but you could do a ballot for the article, that article to vote, to have it on Australian ballot.
Okay.
So that is something that could be done, since we are having 2 other elections this year.
Chris?
I think we had talked about this while I was on the board, but, why not move town meeting, or, you know, our town meeting to an evening, instead of during the day? Barb, you may know the answer to this question. Didn't Northfield do that?
I believe they do, well, now they have the information, because they chose a couple of years ago to vote all their, nothing from the floor, so it's an information on Monday night,
So,
and Tuesday's the vote.
as town clerk, you can probably answer this too. Is it okay if I answer? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. If we were to hold our town meeting, the night before, an evening or whatever, can we still do our floor votes during that meeting, or does that have to be on the actual town meeting day?
That would, again, there'd be something that the select board would.
So the board could,
The board could choose to do that, yes.
I just, you know, to encourage more participation.
Rodney might have an answer, he says here.
I think it would have to be a townwide vote, change the date.
Yes, yes, you would
Yeah.
have to have a townwide
Yes.
vote to change the date, but yes, it can be done, yes.
And
So if that's something somebody's interested in, come forward sooner rather than later, so that we can, you said the primaries in August?
The primary is August, I don't know the date right off the top, but it's August, either the second week of August or
And,
I was just
we'll
gonna
discuss it.
it was brought up at town meeting, I don't know, 2, 3, again, time flies.
Yeah.
The moderator had brought that up, or someone had brought that up at town meeting to change the time. And all the moderators get together in the state to learn the position and what have you. And basically, you have 80 people on our town meeting day, Tuesday, and you have 80 people Monday night, in the towns that have chosen that. The dilemma is people just do not want to truly, I have friends from Massachusetts. We live in a state where we truly have direct democracy. So we can all complain, all of us can complain when votes go wrong for whatever they're voting for, but the beauty of our state is if every vote, how many voters do we have in the town, Barb?
over 2,500.
We'll say 2,500 voters, if they all showed up at town meeting, A, we're probably gonna have to get out of the gym. I don't know if the gym can hold quite that much, but that is a true democracy. It could literally, that vote could be won by one vote. But out of the 2,500, 60 people decide to show up. And they all, in theory, have the day off because town meeting is a day off in the state of Vermont. Now, not everybody necessarily, I'm just saying it is.
I think legally you can request it off and they have to give it to you off. Yeah.
Oh, well, I cashed in a holiday for this, so.
Rodney?
So it used to be that everyone got town meeting day off and they got paid for it. Then the law changed that you didn't have to stay them, but you couldn't stop them from taking it off. So people just can't afford to take the day off.
That's understandable.
Okay.
I also think a huge change from, grew up in Williamstown, the thing that really changed town meeting was the school budget is now on paper ballot.
That's correct.
I wanna say when I was a kid, the bleachers at the high school were completely full. And then after the school budget, everyone stood up and walked away. They used to have lunches and, you know, pies, it was a community event.
Absolutely.
And I would love to see it back that way, because I think, you know,
Chris Pelican was his head up first.
It actually was what Rodney just said,
Okay,
as far as the.
Chris,
And just touching on what Rodney said, I do think it would be worth the board, you know, to consider, at least putting it on, you know, putting it out there for a vote. Maybe it's primaries or whatever, because I don't think it's ever been asked, not in the 20 years that I've lived in town, you know, asked, you know, to the community as a whole, if they wanted that option or not.
And you would get more voters.
Yeah.
On a primary or a general election, there'd be more, is a more bigger voter turnout.
And I think at that point, if people didn't show up, then, well, they don't have an excuse. You know, I always say, if you don't vote, you don't go, don't bitch.
was there about 70,
It kind of works
70
that way
people last year?
now.
Tell
Like I
me?
said, I cashed in to pay
How many
holidays
absentee ballots did you have?
to be here,
Yeah.
whether I was on the board or
A
not.
total number of voters.
Because that, it is your right to do it, your decision,
Whether you have the
whether you get paid or not.
town report, the minutes of last year of who voted.
385 people voted
Yes.
Total.
out
Yes.
of 2,500?
Yes.
Like,
Actually, 367 was the
Oh.
total number of voters that voted altogether. Now, for the articles on the floor, when people ask for a paper ballot,
like 50.
I believe, no, not quite,
same ones, they were-
it was close to 70 some, results of a paper ballot, 45 yes, 27 no. So that was your floor people.
So we're still seeing a drop in numbers right there, right?
Yeah, but
Cody,
it's ridiculous that that number of people make such big decisions for the whole town. No.
We all have
I
the
don't
right.
disagree with you,
Cody,
And that, but that's
Cody's
true.
waiting
that's
to
the way
speak.
it works.
It's okay. So just my experience, and it may just be an odd opinion, but I think the youngest person in this room, maybe. But it's getting into this. What I've seen over the years. I like this. I like getting together, having conversations, debating things. I understand people's views on, well, there's 2,500 people in town. Why shouldn't everybody be able to vote on these things? And I understand that. Where I probably differ is that, and I've heard, well, I can't make town meeting because I can't afford to take the day off. I know things are tough, but if you can't plan, you know when town meeting is every year. If you can't plan for one day, I mean, I'm sure people take sick days off all the time that they really don't have to, or an extra
But-
vacation day.
And I see your point, but we're taxpayers, we have a right to a vote, and if we
Yep.
can't make the meeting, that's not fair.
No, I understand, I'll finish, so, and again, this might be dissenting, it's just my opinion, I'm just throwing it out there, but and it's kind of not just in this, youth sports across the board, people don't wanna be involved anymore. They don't wanna come, they don't wanna show up, they wanna just sit home and check a box.
Yep.
So, the way I view it, and I remember this vote, it was Ronald Snyder that brought it up to change things over to Australian ballot for the general budget, and it was voted down, and there was a lot of discussion on it. I want people who are voting to be concerned enough and be informed enough to come to these meetings, that they value it that much, that they're willing to plan to take a day off to come, to have the discussions, because that's valuable, being able to be there and receive, people ask questions to the board, they ask questions of the school board, they have these discussions. I don't want not informed people making decisions for the town. I don't. If you were on an airplane and you didn't have a pilot and you just, oh, hey, we want everybody, can somebody come pilot? No, you want informed people who know what they're doing and have the information to make decisions for your town.
But the people who are making decisions on these two articles are either here or watching it or listening to it, and they're still getting a vote. They don't have to physically be here.
Well, these votes are gonna be on the ballot.
Yeah.
No, I know, what I'm saying is, if you are a voter and you have the right to vote, just because you can't be there, you might listen to the meeting, if there was an informational meeting held in advance of the big vote, you might listen to it or attend it, doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to vote, you know what I'm saying, like,
But why, they can still vote.
no, not if they have to be at,
Oh.
if you're doing like what Northfield does and you have an informational meeting in advance and then the vote the next day on the Australian
You
ballot.
have the highway budget and all
Yeah.
those things that are on the floor.
Everything should be Australian ballot, there shouldn't be, that's my opinion.
Okay, no, then that's fine, if we disagree, I was just sharing my opinion, that's fine.
This is the reason why we had this meeting tonight, so people would have a chance to see it on TV. If we'd done it the night before, they would never even seen it, because when it hadn't come out yet.
And I think if you did decide to put all these articles on, say, goes to Australia, you would still have to hold an informational meeting either the night before for anybody that has any, or at least, you'd have to have an informational.
And I think you should,
I think doing it the week ahead of time is better, so that
yeah.
Yeah.
people can see it on TV.
Right. Exactly. And you still would hold a vote on the town meeting.
I think if we were going to do that route, that we would do it with the understanding that there would be an informational meeting the week before the town meeting. And that way everybody has the opportunity to be informed if they choose to be.
And how come the informational meeting wasn't on the letter?
We sent the letters out before the date for the information meeting was
Okay,
decided.
because I know a lot of people don't have social media, and like my parents, they are not on, they didn't know about the meeting at all.
Yeah, it's,
My in-laws,
yeah, I'm
It would've
welcome to any ideas to, ideally, we would have decided and, had everything together and put them all out.
yeah.
With the mail being late all the time, we needed to get the letters out
Yeah.
as soon as possible.
Yeah, we should have had that in those letters. We didn't have it set up at the
Yeah,
time.
There was a lot of time crunch stuff.
yeah.
Things have been kind of in a whirlwind since the former manager was arrested. I mean, Ryan just got on board after the first year, and so everything's going good now, so hopefully things will even out. Chris?
To support what Amy's saying, I don't believe she's talking about the audit or the roads, but the town is approximately $3 million that's voted on the floor. And I guess I'd support her idea of maybe making a change to that next year.
Well, get a petition.
Oh, I will.
Well,
I'm on
but
it.
the select board can do it all on their own.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I have no problem as a select board member in doing it.
Right.
I'm the only
But
one.
if that many people wanna do it, that'd be,
You're never gonna get the old people at town meeting to change their ways. By a vote.
Well, those
I'm probably gonna
70 people
get
can
shot for
vote
saying that.
no.
Another thing is like all those appropriations, and so.
I didn't include that.
Yeah, no, so now you're talking $52,000 in just appropriations, and since I got firsthand dealing with it this year, dealing with the town report, I think, wow, that's so much money, and a lot of appropriations that, do they even, a lot of them benefit Williamstown? I get it.
Oh, like the green up day and all that stuff.
All of them, yeah, and I'm like, wow, this really adds up. Therefore, if you did Australian ballot, you wouldn't be lumping them together. It would be, do you appropriate 300 for Orange County, whatever, do you appropriate $1,000 for green up? I mean, it just goes, and people could choose, yes, no, because that's always been a main question. What do these programs benefit people in Williamstown? Or how many do they benefit in Williamstown? And you're paying $54,000 a year.
Let me ask you this question. Could we just do the highway and general fund budget last year in ballot and still have a town meeting for all the other little
Well,
stuff?
nobody would probably wanna go. Those are the two main,
I know.
those are the money makers, I guess you could say.
Those are most important. I mean, it costs you a lot in taxes. I mean, I know, Ain't
I mean,
much else
as
to
it is,
do.
it gets over with by 11:30. I remember like Tyler said, of course, that was when the school was there, you broke for lunch, but sometimes it was like, when you were on the school board, it was like 4:30 by the time the school board meeting would get done, it'd be like, wow. So it went all day, but you're not gonna have that now. I mean, it's over, I think the quickest one was 11:20, the meeting was over. So
It starts at 10.
it starts at 10, so you're talking an hour and 20
And
minutes
I
of
would-
just zipping through everything.
I would also say with history, the school budget has not passed the last 2 to 3 years in the first.
This will, if it passes this year or doesn't pass, this will be the third year if we have to do a
And
remote meeting.
again, in a regular town meeting, people can ask questions. Though, the question that's always asked, and I don't know legally why it can't happen, is that last vote where, what was the fund, Barb? Well, all the different,
The appropriations for all
Appropriations.
different, yes.
that's, I feel like every year that's asked, can we do it vote by vote for this? And for some reason, that never goes that way. Because I think at one point it was.
Yeah.
It-
At one point it was, yes, yes.
And I think-
One point
I
it was.
remember that.
Yeah, people got tired of it taking so long and.
And,
lumped
because there was
it
a lot of
together.
discussion on each one, so it was like just,
Would it be possible for you to do like a mock Australian ballot for the town that the select board could look at to see what it would look like if we chose to see if the voters wanted to
yeah,
move to
town meeting next week probably.
Just,
right.
I know like that lump together thing is gonna be, but if it could be just simple, so you can just check or whatever, you know?
Cause I've seen Northfields and I talked to Kim because we merge our school ballots together and I'm like, wow, I wish our ballots could be like that. Yeah, it starts with, you know, the candidates is Article 1 and it follows right into all the articles right up until, in each appropriation is, one is Article 13, one's 14.
It's gonna be a long night counting ballots.
Well, that's why we have the tabulator. You just gotta read them. Only, unfortunately, Williamstown's a little bit later on, when we have to merge the school because we have to wait until this year's gonna work out like the revote in April. They're bringing their ballots over 3 times during the day. So they'll be bringing their first batch at 10:30, followed at 4 o'clock, and then we have to wait till about 7:30 when they get there with their last batch to enter into the tabulator. So, because we're a commingling town. So that's what the holdup is on town meeting. Otherwise, you could leave at a decent hour.
If you could inform us as to what the deadlines are as for, we have to warn this if we decide to go that route. And what something would look like, so we'd have something to look at, so we could be better informed on it. That would be great. And just get it set up with Ryan for whatever meeting we need to do it in. And we'll warn that select board meeting just like the others, and hopefully people look at it. If they got concerns about us voting on doing that, they can come in just like people have tonight. And, I mean, probably the biggest select board meeting we ever had was when the town manager got arrested. This place was packed with people.
No, actually, it was the fire chief.
The ambulance.
Yeah, the ambulance good, it was pretty good.
Ambulance.
If everyone looks on
Well,
YouTube, the fire chief's
Pretty sure
one
that
was 2,000 views.
the
That
ATV club
overwhelps
filled
our
that
normal
library up
30
there.
views on YouTube.
I was in the
Yeah,
family.
the ATV club one filled that library up there pretty well.
Yeah, so, yeah, I can,
Anyway, we need something to get their attention so they come.
I
if
wasn't
they
even on
don't
that
like
either.
it.
No,
So,
this was.
we did receive one bit of news. There was some discussion about it last meeting, about the sidewalk from the high school down to Route 14, and, the absence of the town manager, they handed me a application thing for a grant for a sidewalk, application grant for sidewalk study. And we got together and we filled it out, and lo and behold, they approved an application for $20,000 to do the study on the sidewalk, so.
You have to do a study before you put in a sidewalk?
Yep.
You have to do a study in order to get the
instead of
grants.
taking that money to put into the sidewalk, you
Right.
would.
Oh, yeah.
It's a process, it's a process.
Jeez.
Were you on the board when they were talking about the water? They're putting all the drains near pump and pantry. It's gonna cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that just might get us to the next point where they change the rules.
Oh,
yeah.
that, yes, that.
Just
Okay.
to bring that up.
Water mitigation
I
and
brought
all
up,
that good stuff.
did you hear back from the sidewalk on Route 14?
I did not,
Or
I'll
no,
keep
Route
reaching out.
64 rather. Yes, I brought that up because, again, kids, we have a lot of sidewalk issues with kids. The one bridge that has a sidewalk in this town is on Route 64, Brook Street. So I think there's a flip of the coin in the air who actually owns that road, if it's the state or the town. But that sidewalk's the only one that isn't actually, I think there's probably about 5 feet of snow on it right now.
Where?
Right on Brook Street by
BD's.
Beatty's.
The only sidewalk there is on the bridge itself.
Yeah, exactly, but I mean, the road itself is wide enough.
They added that on the bridge during the construction of anticipation of future sidewalk.
I was just, yeah.
That's why it's there.
Well, the reason I brought it up last year, I saw a teacher walking in the middle of the road because that bridge was completely.
There's nothing made for it.
No.
So anyway,
Simple, it's an 8-foot sidewalk that probably could be taken care of, that's my opinion.
this will conclude the public hearings on the Frizik audit and the road rehab project. Thank everyone for coming. And we need to take a break, vote to take a break to go into executive session for possible
And approve the
legal.
warrant.
Approve the warrant.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna sign the warrant too.
Gotta approve it, Larry.
Do you wanna do that now and then take a break? or-
Yeah, we could do that, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, this for, need a motion on check warrant report 22191. 181. You make these little small letters. Those things, everybody read that
We have
stuff.
to pay too many bills.
You're getting old, you know? Okay, can I have a motion on that?
Yeah.
Make the motion to accept it.
Your second? Do I hear a second?
Looking over it.
I'm recusing
Oh, you
myself.
can't, you can't
I'm
vote.
reviewing it.
Okay, well, you can second the motion, then we'll have discussion.
All right, well, I'll second the
Okay,
motion.
motion
I'm
made
still
second.
reviewing it.
Now, is there any discussion?
If you just wanna give me a second to finish looking at this.
She's out.
Yeah, just start right. Just about.
I got that and payroll warrant, so.
I'm good on that.
All set?
Oh, I just,
Any discussion? None? All in favor?
I,
All right, opposed?
I'm just abstaining.
Okay, the next one is payroll for period ending 2/22/26. Your motion on that?
I make the motion to approve.
Your second?
I'll second that.
Motion made second. Any discussion on that?
I have to recuse.
Yeah, him and I both have to abstain.
Well, if that's thing, so I'll say, guys, any discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Opposed? Okay, takes care of that. Now we need a motion to go into executive, take a recess for a few minutes.
I'll make a motion to take a recess for 5 minutes.
That's good. Okay, thank you everyone for
I
coming.
was gonna second it.
Seconded.
Aye.
You gonna give me a little
Yes, I took that day off, I took one of my paydays, my vacation days to come up and hang out with you again, Barb.
Okay.
Okay, good. Okay, we need a motion to go into executive session
I make the motion to go into
for
executive session.
legal issues,
Legal issue.
possible legal.
Possible legal issue.
For a second, motion made, second. Okay, we're down executive session, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, okay, so I'll make a motion to come out of executive session.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Now, we gotta have somebody state what the action was taken or not taken. Should have probably been in with the motion, I guess.
Legal issues were discussed, no action was taken.
Good with that.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
I'll second.
it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Boy.